Hey everyone, Mike here. Welcome back to Animal Prime, your go-to destination for nature's most awe-inspiring creatures, where wonder slithers, leaps, gallops, and soars. Today we're heading into the wild for a celebration like no other. In honor of World Snake Day, we're unveiling 15 of the most mesmerizing, mysterious, and misunderstood serpents ever to grace this planet. From fanged assassins hidden in the shadows, to rainbow-scaled marvels that shimmer like living jewels, you're about to meet snakes like you've never seen them before. Which serpent can glide through the air like a feathered arrow? What makes a certain pit viper look like it was designed by a fantasy game developer on caffeine? Stick around as we uncover the elegance, the danger, and the jaw-dropping beauty of the snake world. And trust us, you won't want to miss the legendary beasts slithering at the end of our list. Let's dive straight in, and we're starting with a cold-blooded legend that feels more like a myth made real than a living creature. Meet the bush viper, sometimes called the dragon of the Canopy. Perched among the rainforest branches of Central and West Africa, this striking reptile looks like something carved from emerald and gold. Its body is covered in keeled, spiky scales that jut out like miniature armor plates, giving it the texture of pine cones and the aura of an enchanted beast. These creatures are small, rarely longer than 2 feet, but their color palette is something from a painter's fantasy, from vivid yellows and mossy greens to fiery oranges. When they coil up, camouflaged among leaves, they vanish from view until it's too late for their prey. But here's the twist. The bush viper isn't just a pretty face. It's a venomous predator, using heat-sensitive pits to detect warm-blooded animals like rodents or birds, even in total darkness. When it strikes, it's quick and precise, injecting a hemotoxic venom that breaks down tissue and blood vessels. Despite their power, bush vipers are rarely seen by humans, hidden away in high branches, quietly ruling their leafy realm. There's a quiet nobility to them, like guardians of a world we barely understand. From the rainforest treetops, we glide east to the Himalayan foothills, where one of the rarest serpents on Earth moves like liquid fire beneath the leaves. Enter the coral red Kukri snake, a jewel of Nepal. Named for the traditional curved Kukri blade of the Gurkhas, this snake bears deep blood-red hues banded in black, as if forged in ceremonial steel. It's a non-venomous species, yet its beauty and rarity have earned it near mythical status. It isn't large, most individuals measure under a meter, but its sharp teeth and powerful jaw give it a grim reputation among reptile fans. Why? Unlike many snakes, the Kukri doesn't swallow its prey whole. It cuts. With scalpel-like precision, it slices open eggs or even live prey, feeding in a way more akin to a surgeon than a hunter. For some, that's disturbing. For others, it's yet another reason to admire nature's endless innovation. Slithering southward now, we find ourselves in the steamy lowlands of Southeast Asia, where beauty and terror coil together in one glowing body. The blue Malayan coral snake, sometimes called the electric demon of the forest floor. Imagine a creature so vividly colored it looks radioactive, cobalt blue with a brilliant red head and tail, like it's dipped in lava. But this isn't just a warning, it's a declaration. This snake carries some of the most powerful venom of any snake in the region, with neurotoxins that can cause paralysis within minutes. It doesn't bluff, it doesn't hesitate, and it doesn't follow the rules. Unlike most venomous snakes, which bite defensively, the Malayan coral snake is a predator through and through. It eats other snakes, including venomous ones, and uses its extreme toxicity as a way to overpower prey instantly. It's reclusive, fast-moving, and strangely beautiful. Watching it move is like watching silk dance across the jungle floor. And speaking of movement, are you ready to meet a snake that doesn't just slither, but soars? Yes, it's real. The paradise flying snake of Southeast Asia. This slender, lightweight snake is capable of flattening its ribs to become almost ribbon-shaped, then launching itself from trees, gliding from branch to branch like a living leaf. It's not venomous, not dangerous to humans, just breathtakingly agile. It measures about 3 feet in length and wears a dazzling mosaic of greens and blacks with hints of yellow, perfect camouflage among the canopy. But the real spectacle is in motion. In mid-glide, the snake rises and flattens its body into a U-shape, creating lift and direction, adjusting mid-air like a ribbon caught in the wind. Scientists still marvel at how a limbless animal can control its flight so precisely. And children watching, especially the curious ones who love superheroes, might just fall in love with this airborne acrobat. From the skies, we dive back to the jungle floor, where silence hides a living weapon. The Fer-de-Lance, feared and revered across Central and South America, is known locally as the ultimate pit viper. This snake is not just deadly, it's lightning fast, aggressive when cornered, and responsible for more bites in its region than any other species. But it's also misunderstood. Its name, French for spearhead, reflects its triangular head and pointed snout. Adults can grow over 6 feet long and strike with bone-cracking force. Their camouflage is astonishing. Earthy browns, blacks, and grays blend perfectly with leaf litter and mud. That's how they hunt, perfectly still, perfectly hidden until the precise moment of attack. Their venom is potent, but their role in the ecosystem is crucial. They control rodent populations and serve as prey for jaguars, raptors, and even larger snakes. Despite their fearsome reputation, there's an ancient grace to the Fer-de-Lance, a serpent not of chaos but of balance. A creature feared not because it is cruel, but because it is exact. And with that, we're just getting started. 5 species down, 10 more wonders await. From legendary Indian giants to Arctic surviving enigmas, the serpents of our planet are far stranger and more beautiful than you ever imagined. From the dense jungles and leaf-strewn floors of the Americas, our journey slithers onward, this time into lands of sand, stone, and shimmering heat waves. Because sometimes danger isn't hidden in the shadows. Sometimes it basks proudly beneath a burning sun. Let me introduce you to the horned viper, nature's desert-born sentinel. Found across North Africa and the Middle East, this snake looks sculpted by the wind itself. 2 raised scales above its eyes form horn-like protrusions, like a miniature dragon lying in wait beneath the dunes. Its body, thick and coiled like braided rope, is covered in sand-colored scales that ripple like the landscape it hides in. It doesn't move like other snakes, it sidewinds. Imagine it lifting parts of its body in rhythmic arcs, barely touching the scalding ground as it zigzags across the sand in bursts of speed and control. This unique movement helps it stay cool and nearly invisible. Lying in ambush just beneath the surface, it can remain unseen for hours, even days, until a rodent or lizard passes by. Its bite? Potent. Not instantly fatal to humans, but enough to bring down prey quickly and painfully. Yet despite its power, the horned viper is more sculpture than assassin, patient, still, eternal. A creature carved by heat, refined by silence. Now as the heat fades and dusk rolls over the desert, let's descend into the darkness, where myth breathes through scales and legend coils in ancient stone. Emerging from Indian folklore and real-life mystery, the Vasuki Indicus is one of those names that sounds more like a spell than a species. And in some ways it is. This elusive serpent isn't officially cataloged by modern science, but stories of it haunt the deepest jungles of the Western Ghats in southern India. Described as enormous, some say over 20 feet long, and adorned with iridescent markings said to glimmer under moonlight, Vasuki Indicus may be more symbol than specimen, but its name draws from Hindu mythology. Vasuki, the serpent king who wrapped himself around Mount Mandara during the churning of the cosmic ocean. Real or not, the idea of Vasuki represents something powerful in our relationship with snakes, a reverence that transcends fear. In India, serpents are not just creatures, they are guardians, teachers, and symbols of life cycles and transformation. Whether this species exists in the way legends describe, or whether it's an exaggerated memory of a massive python or an undiscovered king cobra, does it matter? Vasuki Indicus speaks to the magic snakes hold in our cultural memory. And speaking of pythons, our next guest is a true titan of the snake world. Say hello to the reticulated python, Earth's longest snake. Native to Southeast Asia, it's a creature that doesn't merely stretch, it dominates. The longest recorded individual reached over 33 feet, longer than a school bus and heavier than most adult humans. Unlike many massive snakes, this one is a climber, swimmer, and ground dweller all in one. Its skin is patterned like a digital mosaic, blacks, yellows, and browns forming complex shapes that break up its outline. It's beauty through confusion, perfect camouflage in the shifting light of forests and rivers. The reticulated python is non-venomous, relying instead on constriction. It wraps its muscular coils around prey, often pigs, deer, or even monkeys, tightening with every breath the victim exhales. It's clinical, efficient, and oddly quiet. Death by python is silent and fast. Despite its intimidating size, the python avoids human contact and rarely attacks unless provoked. Yet stories persist, from remote villages and isolated farms, of people vanishing, only to be found within the massive coils of this living rope. But fear isn't the whole story. In Thailand and Indonesia, these snakes are part of tradition. Some are raised in captivity for leather. Others are worshipped or released in temples as sacred animals. Like a river god made flesh, the reticulated python moves between fear and reverence with every ripple of its muscle. Now let's scale back in size, but not in impact. In the forests of Central America, tucked among vines and orchids, lives the eyelash viper, a snake that looks kissed by magic. Small and coiled tight like a golden bracelet, this viper often comes in stunning colors: canary yellow, soft pink, lime green. Its most striking feature? The horn-like scales above each eye form what look like dramatic lashes, hence the name. It isn't just elegant, it's deadly. Its venom is hemotoxic, designed to immobilize small birds and mammals within seconds. But it doesn't chase, it waits. With its prehensile tail, the eyelash viper drapes itself along thin branches and waits for the perfect moment to strike. Its bite is quick, its retreat even quicker. In the right light, it almost disappears, a whisper of color among flowers and leaves. To children, it might resemble something from a fairy tale. To prey, it is the end of the story. Our last serpent in this section is born of stone and silence. The black-headed python of Australia, a muscular, ground-hugging powerhouse from the sun-baked savannas and rocky outcrops of the north. Its name is no exaggeration. The body is copper, brown, and cream in rich earthy bands, but the head is pure onyx, like it's been dipped in obsidian. Unlike most pythons, it prefers to hunt reptiles, other snakes even. It uses its heat-sensing pits to track prey and its crushing coils to finish the job. But what really sets this species apart is its calm demeanor. It rarely bites, even when handled. And that, coupled with its striking looks, makes it a favorite among expert reptile keepers. The head absorbs heat faster than the rest of its body, useful when basking on cold mornings, giving it a thermal advantage that speaks to evolution's precision. And as the sun sets on this chapter of our journey, we leave you with that image. A snake carved from fire and ash, resting on ancient stone. 9 species down, and the world of serpents still has more secrets to share. Stay with us, because what's coming next slithers through icy forests, sings without sound, and might just change the way you see snakes forever. As our expedition winds toward its final stretch, the atmosphere shifts. We've seen the shimmer of scales under jungle light, the silent coils beneath desert sand, the whispered strike in flower-laced branches. But some of the most remarkable snakes thrive not in extremes, but in the unexpected. And the last 6 in our list prove that beauty, mystery, and power often hide in the cold, in the quiet, or in plain sight. Let's start where frost kisses the ground and evergreens tower like ancient guardians, the temperate forests of North America. Here lives a creature that defies every assumption people have about snakes. The eastern indigo snake, also known as the gentle giant of the snake world. It's the longest native snake in the United States, often exceeding 8 feet in length. But despite its impressive size, it's non-venomous, non-aggressive, and famously calm around humans. Its scales are smooth and dark, But when sunlight hits, they reveal a gleaming, iridescent blue-black that looks almost metallic, like burnished armor forged in starlight. This snake doesn't rely on venom. Instead, it overpowers prey with strength and speed, feeding on rodents, amphibians, and even venomous snakes, including rattlesnakes. It's also a conservation icon. Once widespread across the southeastern U.S., habitat loss and overcollection have reduced its numbers drastically. But today, thanks to protected land and breeding programs, the eastern indigo is slithering back, one glimmering scale at a time. Now imagine this, a snake with eyes so pale, it looks like it's been carved from ice. That's the San Francisco garter snake, often called the most beautiful snake in North America. And once you see it, you'll understand why. Its body is a vivid dance of turquoise, coral red, and black. The stripes run in sleek lines down its flanks, as if hand-painted. And it's small, usually under 3 feet, but startlingly fast and agile. Found only in a handful of wetland areas near the San Francisco Bay, it's among the rarest snakes on the continent. More than just a pretty face, this garter snake plays a vital role in local ecosystems, preying on small fish and amphibians. It's endangered due to habitat fragmentation and pollution, but conservationists are working tirelessly to protect the wetlands it calls home. It's a snake that seems almost too bright for reality, like a creature that escaped from a child's drawing into the wild. And while we're on the subject of color, let's take a surreal turn. The rainbow boa of South America doesn't just shimmer, it refracts light like a living prism. Under direct sunlight, its otherwise modest brown and black pattern bursts into a liquid rainbow of purples, greens, and blues. This isn't Photoshop. It's the microstructure of its scales, each one acting like a tiny mirror, bending light into brilliant arcs. It's a constrictor, like many boas, and relatively small, averaging 5 to 6 feet. But it's highly prized for its beauty, and in some indigenous cultures, it's considered a sacred messenger. In captivity, rainbow boas require specific care, heat, humidity, and patience. But those who keep them speak of the quiet elegance they bring to any space. Watching a rainbow boa move is like watching molten glass ripple. It's hypnotic, gentle, alive with color. Let's go even deeper now, underground, where most light doesn't reach. Because in Brazil, beneath the forest floor, scientists recently unearthed a snake that seems pulled from a myth. The Atretochoana icelti, nicknamed the penis snake, for reasons obvious at first glance, is not technically a snake, but a limbless amphibian. Yet it slithered its way into this list for sheer shock value and scientific intrigue. It has no lungs. It breathes through its skin. It's blind, scaleless, and lives its life in muddy water and underground tunnels. Discovered accidentally during a dam project, it became an internet sensation overnight. But behind the novelty is a real scientific marvel, an animal so adapted to its subterranean world, it abandoned the features most creatures rely on. Strange? Yes. But in a list celebrating snake diversity, the Atretochoana stands as a reminder that nature doesn't follow our rules. It writes its own. Now let's rise from the mud into the trees one last time for a serpent that sings without sound. The Boelen's python of Papua New Guinea. Rarely seen, rarer still in captivity. This python is cloaked in black so deep it absorbs light, yet catch it at the right angle, and it glows with iridescent purples and blues like oil on water. It lives in the highlands, far from most human contact, and grows over 8 feet long. Boelen's pythons are powerful, yet calm, revered by local tribes and sought after by herpetologists worldwide. When they move, they glide like velvet shadows. When they strike, it's with grace and force. They are poetry in motion. To see one in the wild is to witness living myth. And finally, we close our journey not with danger or drama, but with mystery. No one's quite sure where the story of the mythical white snake began. In Chinese folklore, she's a spirit of love and tragedy. In German legends, a symbol of wisdom and secrecy. But in the real world, white snakes do exist. Rare, often albino individuals whose lack of pigment turns them ghostly pale. Albino cobras, White pythons, leucistic rat snakes. They are born anomalies, both sacred and hunted. In some cultures, thus spotting one is a sign of immense fortune. In others, it's a warning. But always they're unforgettable. And they remind us that the world still hides creatures that feel impossible. Beautiful, fragile, mysterious. 15 snakes, 15 stories. From high branches to deep caves. From shimmering beauty to legendary whispers. Which one stunned you most? Was it the wingless glider, the dragon-eyed viper, or the rainbow shadow in the trees? Drop us a comment and let us know, because these creatures deserve more than fear. They deserve awe. And if you want to keep exploring the wonders of the animal world, don't forget to subscribe. We've got more wild legends and living marvels headed your way. Thanks for joining us here on Animal Prime, where the wild is always alive. See you in the next adventure.